Mary the Hairy Fairy, written by Daniel Corcoran, spoken by Lorinda Hall. Hidden behind our old garden shed is a very unusual flower bed. Nestled amongst the blooms and the berries is a minuscule village of tiny fairies. As they dart and they dance across the sky, you might spot one that looks like a fly. Look closer, it's strange and a little bit scary. Do you think that this creature is really a fairy? It has wings and a wand, so it must be a fairy. Of course it is, and her name is Mary. As Mary grew up in Old Fickle Town, her hair was first green, then purple, then brown. When they tried to cut it, it just grew faster, and soon, as you'll see, it became a disaster. Her parents were worried and asked an old elf, who simply said,
"Just tell her to be herself. That's what she'll be best at. That's where she'll excel. If she can do that, then all will be well."
But Mary just wished she was part of the mob, doing regular things like getting a job. She'd have a career and make her folks proud. How hard can it be? Mary muttered aloud. She noticed an ad on the bulletin board. Are you after a job with a hefty reward? She read all the steps, then gathered her tackle and flew out the door with a jubilant cackle. Look under a pillow, that's step number 1. Step number 2, grab the tooth, then run. But the tooth Mary grabbed and tried to take was still stuck in. Oh, what a mistake! Next, Mary considered what Fickle Town lacked. A singing fairy, since the last one was sacked? I'll save up and buy an electric guitar. How hard can it be? I could be the next star. She took a deep breath to sing her first note, but sucked in a bug which got stuck in her throat. It was crunchy and squirmy and bitter and yellow, so all that came out was cough, gasp, and bellow. Poor Mary, it seems, hairy fairies can't sing. So what should she try? Oh, what was her thing? Should she bundle her hair up under a beanie and try to find work in the war against meanies? But the general looked her straight in the eye and said, "Too hairy, you need not apply." Meanies are honey moles that live underground and prey upon fairy folk all year round. They dig under houses like sneaky bulldozers and steal all the honey from under our noses. All this hair might help me land a job as a model. How hard can that be? Wearing clothes, what a doddle. Mary marched down the catwalk and tripped on her hair. The designer sacked her. It just wasn't fair. Next, Mary applied for a job making candy. How hard can it be? I'll be fine, I'll be dandy. But working with toffee's a sticky affair. Soon each toffee apple was covered in hair. "This hair's got to go, there's too much," Mary said. "I'll cut it all off and dye the rest red." She applied for a job as a Christmas fairy, but the tree was too high. It was way too scary. I try and I have no luck. Whatever I do, it all comes unstuck. Mary ran and ran as fast as she could, deeper and deeper into the wood. She cried and she sooked with her head in her hands. "I'm always a failure. No one understands." There were tears in her eyes and mud on her face, and her flaming red hair was all over the place. Then all of a sudden she heard a faint scream. So she raced back to town to check out the scene. The meanies had struck at the home of 3 fairies. Searching for honey, one home was Mary's. Now Mary was mad as could be. How dare they, those meanies! She'd soon make them flee. Her face became purple, her red hair stuck out. She burst from the trees with an almighty shout. Arr, grr, growl, roar! She charged at the first like a furious boar. That meanie turned round with a snarl and a sneer, but when he saw Mary, his face filled with fear. He put down the honey and yelled to his buddy, "Look out! It's a monster, so hairy and muddy!" The meanies all fled. The honey was saved. Now the fairies loved Mary. They cheered and they waved. "Mary, Mary, the scary fairy!" Beware, nasty meanies, beware, be afraid of Mary the hairy great warrior maid. And remember the words of that wise old elf. The thing you are best at is being yourself.